Alright everybody, it's A-Spec here, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Canon PowerShot ELPH 130IS. And this is mine. This is my own personal camera, which I use for my main usage. I do actually collect old digital cameras, but this is the one I mainly use, and this is perhaps the best photo quality of the bunch I have collected. So this camera was actually released in January of 2013, and I bought it a few months after it came out. So I didn't buy it right when it came out, but I bought it because I got a really good deal on it. It was like $70 when it was new, so I got a really good deal on it. And I'm going to take you on a tour around some of its physical features. And going over these physical features, it's a pretty simple control set. There's a large movie record button, a playback mode button, menu button, and Canon's nifty little function set button, which once I power the camera on, the function set button will allow me to adjust some of my basic settings I might use while taking a photo. And over on the right side of the camera, I have the auto off switch. It's letting you choose between auto mode, which, as you probably know, it automatically determines the camera settings. And what's neat about this auto mode is it actually determines the scene and chooses the optimal settings. So if I point it at a close-up subject like this, and hit the shutter button halfway to focus. So, for example, if I point the camera at myself and I smile, it will automatically take a picture. So let's try to film this right here. Yes, it automatically took a picture. And again, going over the physical look of this camera, it actually looks high-end. It looks like a nice camera. It looks expensive. But the nice thing about it, I got this camera only for $70. So there are higher-end versions of this. These ELPH cameras. So you can get the 340HS, you can get the ELPH 190, which is the newest version of this, basically. So that has some other awesome features, like the guided shooting mode, where it'll basically tell you how to use it. So you don't even need to know what all the settings are for. It can just walk you through it can walk you through using all the settings. So I guess that's pretty cool, but I don't need it because I already know how to take a picture. I already know how to use many of the more advanced manual controls you can find on something like the PowerShot SX series. And this camera, another selling point for this is it's very, very compact. It's easy to take around with you. Very compact, and it's easy to take almost anywhere. And actually, the photos are decent. They're not great, they're not terrible, they're decent. Like, this thing has an 8x optical zoom, so zooming out, it's reasonably fast, reasonably quick zoom. So let me just show you what the zoom can do. There's my Galaxy S4, and as you can see, this is actually pretty stable. This is an optical image stabilized zoom. So there's my Galaxy S4, and if I move the camera here, this is how it looks like at 1x optical zoom, and this is what it looks like at 8x optical zoom. So, well, I mean, it's not exactly the quickest thing in the world. It's not the best thing to capture high-speed action with, but, I mean, I've used this camera at a baseball game, and I was able to get pictures of the batter hitting the ball at the exact moment the batter hit the ball. So I guess it's fine for shooting a moving subject, but not really great for shooting a fast-moving subject. And you can also set autofocus point zoom, so it'll display a magnified view of the focusing area, or AI servo AF, so it will automatically keep the focus in the blue frame while you're holding the shutter button halfway down. So it's kind of like a DSLR where you can choose to go in either AI focus or one-shot autofocus. And as for shooting performance, well, let me show you this. Center autofocus, shutter button pressed, halfway. And will automatically keep the focus in the blue frame while I'm holding the shutter button halfway down. So, if you go in and out, or if you have servo autofocus turned off, the focusing speed is like reasonably quick. Yeah, it's reasonably quick. It's reasonably quick, but it's not the quickest thing in the world. I mean, yeah. So going over the settings in the menu, you have the option to set an autofocus frame between Face AI AF, which is a technology that's been around for years. I mean, AIF has been around for years. So it's basically a technology that'll choose between 9 autofocus frames based on the conditions. Artificial intelligence that automatically selects an optimal autofocus frame, or frames. Yeah, the optical image stabilizer was another big selling point for me, because I like getting pictures when we're out traveling to places like Colorado and Wyoming and places like that where there's wildlife, and I sometimes want to get a picture of wildlife, so I'm really into nature as well, so I want to get pictures of wildlife, and I want to be able to zoom in decently far, and I don't want any shake blurring up my photos, so I trust the image stabilizer to deliver a good stable photo, even if I'm zoomed in to this lens's 8 times reach. And there is a low light mode, so if you really, really wanted to take a picture in low light and didn't mind the insane amount of noise this thing makes at ISO 6400, which is the limit of 4 megapixel images that this thing takes in low light mode. And I can always use this camera in auto, because I generally use this camera in auto because I think it takes the best pictures in auto just when it's left to its own devices. Sometimes when I want to intentionally choose a low ISO and just let the image stabilizer sort it out, I'll switch to program mode. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. And this is A-Spec, signing.